I don't have an intro. So last video I spoke about how I got Rupert. Now let's talk about how I got my other 6 cats. Now cat number 2 is Ranger. And he was actually the first cat I fostered through this new rescue. And he was tiny, like he would have only been maybe 4 weeks old. And so he came into care and he got sick. I think he had cat flu, and it was touch and go for a while. I used to weigh him every day. Sometimes he'd gain weight, then he'd lose a bunch of weight, gain it back. He wouldn't eat. I had to take him to the vet all the time, and there was a few times where I thought he wasn't going to make it, but he did. He pulled through, and when he was allowed to come out of his cage, I know cage doesn't sound very nice, but he was in like a little enclosure because he had to be isolated. So when he was allowed to come out, he was just personality plus, like honestly, and he was so good with the kids. Like our kids were only little at the time, and he was just so good with them, and I was like, I don't really like short-haired cats, and I was in my head about it. I'm like, but the kids love him so much, and he's so good with them, and he's so adorable. And I was like, should I ask my husband like if we can keep him? Because I knew he didn't really want a cat in the first place, but he let me get Rupert. So I'm like, it's kind of pushing it. But I asked him, and I can't really remember how the conversation went, but he ended up saying yes, obviously. By that point, his name already was Ranger. I actually named him Ranger. The rescue used to call him Ranger, which, if you're not from Australia, a Ranger is like a slang term for a ginger, like orangutan. But I didn't want to actually call him Ranger because I thought it would be inappropriate, like if I had to take him to the vet and they're like, Ranger, it just didn't sit right with me. So I thought, I might change it to like Ranger, so it's kind of like Ranger but not quite. Ranger, he's hilarious. I actually used to call him Ranger the Bully because he just does not give a shit. Like if he sees another cat doing something and he wants to have a turn, he just barges in and does whatever he wants. Like, he hasn't been a bully for a while, but I also haven't fostered for a few years now. But he's just like, what's that? Let me have a turn. And he's really funny, like, and he's so gentle as well. All the cats are gentle. Well, maybe not Jay and Hondo, but they tolerate a bit and they don't hurt or anything. Like, they don't scratch or anything. You can just tell they don't want to be handled, so you leave them alone. But yeah, Ranger, he's really special to me too. Like, I love all my cats, but don't tell the other cats, but Rupert is my favorite, and I think Ranger might be second. He's just funny. Like, he's a typical ginger cat, and everyone seems to love ginger cats, and so do I, and I don't care that he's short hair. I still love him anyway. Next we have Miss Vixen, who is my number 3 cat, and I actually got her through the same rescue I got Ranger from. I was asked to go pick up Vixen and her sister Freya from a lady that couldn't care for them anymore, and they were 6 months old, and their names were already Vixen and Freya, and so I could only catch Vixen. I couldn't find Freya, or she wouldn't come out, and I'd spent enough time there, and then the lady said, who was actually also part of the rescue, she was originally looking after them, but she had like a gazillion cats there already, so she wanted to offload some. So she said, that's fine, just leave her here, like I'll care for her. So I bring Vixen home, and straight away I thought, what a pretty cat. Like, her colouring, her eyes. She's actually called a Torby, which is like a tortoiseshell and a tabby. Like, she has like the colouring of both, and she was really scared at first as well, but she eventually started coming out and all that sort of stuff, and she was so affectionate, and she's so soft as well, and she actually took a liking to my husband which in my head I'm like, yes, number 3 cat. And he actually agreed. He said we could keep her. I'm like, oh my god, yes, this is awesome. Not the most exciting story. So yeah, that's Vixen's story. Number 4 cat is Boo, and her story, it's not as exciting. Well, that's if you consider the others exciting. Before I got Boo, I actually came across this post about this long-haired white cat that they thought was a stray. So they took it to the vet and they scanned send him for the microchip, and they tried contacting the owners and they couldn't get a hold of him. And then like 2 weeks went by while they were trying to contact the owners and decide if they were going to put him up for adoption. And in that time, I had put in an application. I was going to name him Kingston. Like, it was all set. I was so excited. And then one day I just got a phone call saying, I'm so sorry, but Kingston's family contacted us and they've picked him up. And I was so heartbroken, like I was so upset, and in my head I'm like, I need a Kingston, I need a white long-haired cat, Kingston. And so I was searching, and it was around Halloween, and there was another rescue that had a Halloween litter, like Halloween as in like that was the theme. They had like Halloween names. There was Casper, Boo, they're the only two I can remember. But yeah, Casper and Boo were the only ones that were left. And I know I wanted a boy because I wanted to name him Kingston, but Boo just looked so sweet. I don't know, there was something about her, and I'm like, even the name Boo is cute. Like, yeah, I just thought it was really cute. So I put in an application. Oh, actually, first I should say I asked my husband, and again he said yes because he knew how upset I was about Kingston. He took a bit of convincing for Boo, but he eventually said yes, and so I put in an application. I was approved, and that was pretty much it. Like, she came home, and she is such a social cat. Like, she does not care. Like, she's the total opposite of Rupert. When people came to visit, she's out here meeting all of them. Like, she loves attention. And it's funny how I have 7 cats and they all have different personalities, but I love them all the same. But yeah, that's Boo. Next up is Hondo, and I knew it would be a tough ask for my husband to say yes to a 5th cat. Hondo's name was actually Malachite at the time, but I told my husband because we were actually into watching the SWAT TV series, and when I saw the picture of Hondo, I was like, oh my gosh, he is going to be a beast of a cat when he's older, and I'm gonna name him Hondo. And I showed my husband, and he thought he looked really cool as well. And then when I told him I'm gonna call him Hondo, he was like, yep, done. So he was scared a little bit at first, but he wasn't too bad. But I tell you what, his adoption photo should be the poster for false advertisement, because he did not grow up the way I thought he would. I thought he was going to be this big beast, mean machine looking cat. And I guess sometimes he does when his winter fur comes through, but for the most part, he just looks regular. And I still love him. He's probably the second last cat. Jamanji's the one that doesn't like me the most. Hondo's probably second, but he's actually getting better. He comes up for pats sometimes, and I still love him. He has the cutest little profile, and when his winter fur comes through, like, he fluffs up a bit, but he's never gotten that big mane again like he has in his adoption photo, which is a bummer, but I'm not going to get rid of him just because he's not what I thought he would be. He's my Hondo, and I'd never get rid of him. I love him too much. Then last we have Blossom and Jamanji, who are believed to be brother and sister, even though they don't look anything alike. They were found together, they were around the same age, they were street cats. They're really bonded, so I do believe they are brother and sister. And the way I came about them, a request came in for them for a carer, and as soon as I saw Blossom, I was like, oh my god, she's so fluffy. Like, I don't have a calico colored cat yet. Like, yeah, I'm weird like that. I need like the whole collection. And so I said, oh, I'll take them. So they came into care, and it was so sad when they first came into care, because they obviously were living on the streets and didn't know when their next meal was coming from. The first time I fed them, I was shocked. Like, I wish I had a video of it so you could see what I am trying to explain, but I didn't video it at the time. I've never seen cats or kittens eat the way they did, and it took maybe 2 weeks for them to realize, like, you're gonna get fed every day. Like, you don't have to act that way. My husband already knew that I was hoping to keep Blossom. Jamanji, I was planning to adopt out, but then, like I said earlier, when I came up with the name, Blossom, I named her myself because I love blossoms off gum trees, so she just reminded me of that, so I named her Blossom. But I couldn't think of a name for Jay. My daughter came up with Jamanji, and I'm like, yep, I'm keeping him now, that's it. And yeah, so that's how I ended up with 7 cats. I'm still learning how to be more confident speaking. I'm planning on making an accountability video next, so if you want to be notified of that, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell, all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you then. Thanks!